Well, hello YouTube family. It's been, I guess, about 8 days since I put a video up. Sorry for the delay. We took an extended time off, so to speak, for our anniversary. And I want to thank all of you for the anniversary wishes. We had a nice time, just relaxed, and went on a couple day trips and stuff. So been busy. Got some things going on in our lives, good things, nothing major, but we've been busy. At the same time, we've been, not doing any work, so to speak. So, but anyway, good to be back. I did sneak over here the other day to get this front yard. You can see me now. I'm cutting a lot of these little stumps out. It was driving me crazy. I kept hitting them with the lawnmower, and again, I should have cut them down to the ground when I first did it, but at any rate, I'm going back through now and getting the ones that are too high, and then I'll continue to cut and trim this front yard and get it all spruced up. A couple things. Ann Ziegler, I believe it was, asked me who taught me my handyman skills. That's a good question, and I've got a good answer. My dad was more of a, he wasn't a white collar worker, but he wasn't, he worked primarily in sales and management, that sort of thing. Dad was pretty good with a green thumb around the yard. Always had a nice yard and flowers, and and when he retired, he started gardening. He did do some woodworking. He had built a really nice hutch a long time ago, and I remember that. I was just a kid, but he wasn't, wasn't an avid woodworker or anything like that. He did, when he retired and got older, he did get into that stuff. He bought one of those shopsmiths, and him and my mom used to make wooden toys, kids' toys, and she'd do the painting, and he'd make all the parts and everything, and they'd load them up in boxes and go to these flea markets and stuff like that, when they were both retired, so it gave them something to do. So, but he was influential. Well, they both were. And my mom loved to garden too. They were influential as far as getting out in the yard and doing that stuff. But as far as handyman skills, I've done an awful lot of different things in my life. I sew. I have my own sewing machine. I used to sew all my own uniforms, the stripes and the patches and all that. And so I've done a lot of sewing. I've just done a variety of different things. Woodworking, wood burning, stuff like that. I play the piano and the guitar. Not well, either one of them, but I do play. But my uncle, my mother's brother, was very much involved in a whole lot of different things. He was the type of guy, he had a property, and it was a creek running through the back, and he built a nice stone wall on each side of that creek, and it was nothing but sticks and tree, kind of like this yard was, and he cleared it and built a nice stone wall on each side, and across the creek he had a big huge oak tree, and he had a swing on it and stuff like that, built a nice bridge over it. So he did a lot of that stuff outdoors. He also was a very good pianist, and he was a good painter. He used to paint. In fact, he painted a great portrait of my mother that's still in the family. So that's he did a lot of that. He used to make braided rugs. He took care of the house. He fixed things and all. So he was kind of a Renaissance man, and I just like to do a variety of different things. So anyway, that between my dad and my uncle, they were both influential in my early years. I had another nice tip. I wanted to shout out to Ann Ray, who said cut the limbs flush to the tree. It helps them heal better and all that, where I usually just kind of leave some nubs sticking out. That's a good tip. I think a couple people actually mentioned that, but I know that the first one I read was Ann's. So thank you, Ann, for that tip. I appreciate it. I actually had a couple people ask what Jocelyn does in her retirement years. Jocelyn is she's not as outdoorsy as I am. She used to be. during our break in service, she used to work on the golf course for me. And she could drive any equipment on the golf course, cutting fairways, cutting greens, cutting tees, mowing the rough, raking sand traps, and she did all that stuff and was very good at it. She's not so much outdoorsy now like me. I like to be out there tinkering with this stuff. She does a lot of. She's more artistic. Now, I can't draw a straight line with a ruler. She has pencils and those charcoal things and stuff like that, and drawing pads, and she does an awful lot of drawings and sketches and things like that to keep herself busy. She also cooks. One of her great loves is cooking. She just loves to be in the kitchen, and it's clearly evident that she's a good cook by the way I look, because I don't think she's ever made anything that I don't like. So she keeps busy with that stuff, and then she does a lot of different things on the computer to keep herself busy. I won't say they're games, but she plays these like Sudoku and stuff like that to keep her mind sharp. She does some of those things. I mean, not all day. She doesn't sit there at the computer all day, but she does those type of things. And of course, she's got her hands full with two boys here in the house, myself and the inspector. So that in itself is a full-time job. But anyway, those are some questions that I had, and I just wanted to answer those. And I wanted to tell you all that sorry it took so long to get another video up. We should get back on track here, but I'll let this thing run out a little bit. I'm just doing some cleanup work in the front yard. I'll be going back over there in a couple days and start getting at all those branches that I cut down, and get those chipped up. So Chip is he's hopping around on two wheels out back here ready to go. So. But anyway, I'm just going to let this run a little bit, and I'll come back with you here in a few minutes, and we'll talk some more. But it's good to be back. And I'm back. One of the things that that we did last weekend, as our anniversary weekend, and after 49 years, we don't really have to do anything special. We just, we acknowledge that it's 49 years, and we do whatever we like to do together. Well, we took a little trip out to the. It's not really the coast in North Carolina, but out to around the Pamlico Sound. At any rate, we about 10 years ago when I retired, 10 or 12 years ago, we bought a little travel trailer. It's nothing fancy. It's a 25-foot travel trailer. It's got all the amenities we like. We don't camp with tents on the ground anymore. Those days are long gone. But anyway, we bought that little camper. And we're finding that camping now has become just as expensive as staying in a 5-star hotel. State parks are still pretty reasonable, but it's hard to find state parks with full hookups. And like I said, we want to go glamping, not camping. We want water, sewer, and electric hookups. I think we've earned that at this point. So and then dragging it around the state or the eastern coast or wherever, it gets to be a lot of work, and we find that it's gotten quite expensive. Traveling and gas and hooking it up and loading it up with everything, and then traveling for 3-4 days, traveling and staying for 3-4 days, and you get there and you got to unpack or hook everything up and set up. Don't get me wrong, it's a lot of fun. It's not so much that we hate doing it, but after this many years now, it's gotten to the point where it becomes work. So we've been looking for a couple years for a place to put our camper full time, and it's kind of a getaway. And we found a spot out here in Eastern Carolina. It's not on the beach or the water. It's on a river in Eastern North Carolina. It's a campground that caters to people that want to put their campers there and stay part-time. They don't allow people to live there full-time for a couple of reasons, but you can put it there and you pay a yearly lot rent. They provide the sewer and the water, and you get an electric account established with the local electric company. So we found a place and got a beautiful lot. The campground it's on a river. And off the river into the campground, there are 3 different canals that run, from the river back. And we happen to have one of the spots right on that canal. So we got a little boat, just a little John boat, little 12-foot John boat, small motor to fish in. And I'm doing a little work on that. And we haven't put the camper down there yet. There's a gentleman living on it now, and they're going to be moving off to a different site, and we're going to take that one. So within the next week or two, we'll bring it down there and start getting it set up and leaving it there permanent. And then it's an hour and 20 minutes from where we are. It's like a getaway. It's like having a beach house or a cabin in the woods or in the mountains or something to us. Like, hey, let's go down to the river. Take a few days or a week or whatever we want and head down there. So, and then all we have to do is drive the truck down. We don't have to haul anything. So that's what we've been up to, and that's been busy work, getting that all squared away. Then picking up this little boat and getting it all registered and all that stuff. Like I said, it's just a small little fishing boat, nothing fancy, used, older boat, but it'll serve us well. Nothing, I don't need a speed boat to go water skiing on or anything like that. Something to putt around the river. It's a nice river. It's not a big, huge river, so it's, small boats do very well on that. The campground itself is predominantly people that get down there that are either retired or about to retire, and the majority of them fish. They get down there to fish. So it's a nice community. It's not so much a commercial campground where people come to stay. They do have maybe a dozen lots off in another area that, like people that want to come overnight and stay. But the main area is people that are there their campers are there full time. So we've been doing that, and I'll make some videos of that because we're gonna spruce up the place. I'm gonna set the camper up full time, and then I'm gonna build just a little bitty dock on that canal. You know, if we're down there 3 or 4 days, just tie that boat up at that little dock, and you know, keep it right there in the water next to our camper. You know, build a porch on it at some point, things like that. So I'll do some videos and put some pictures up. But we're excited. We've been looking for a couple years, and we found this place, and it's something that we can definitely afford. It's when I tell people what we're paying yearly for it, they are amazed. And the people that own it apparently inherited the land there and started this campground, and they've been working it for 20-something years, and you know, they don't. The guy said to me, he goes, we haven't gone up in our prices in 20 years. He said, I may have to go up next year $200 a year. I thought, oh my God, that's you know, that's nothing compared to what it costs. I mean, you can't go to a commercial campground right now. We camped at a KOA in New Bern, North Carolina. We've been over there 2 or 3 times. It's right in the river. We love it. And we were getting a premium site, and I think we were paying $65 to $68 a night for a premium site with a patio and all that bit. And this year they've gone up to like $150, $160 a night. And you know, look, I understand times are tough and all that, but you know, I'm not going to spend, you know, $500 to go 3 nights to camp when really we you know, we hang out and we cook out and all that. I can do that at home. So for what we've got, which I think it amounts to about $125 a month, what we're paying, or $1,500 a year. That's the annual lot rent that we're paying. And when the guy told me, I couldn't pay him quick enough. But anyway, so that's one thing we've been up to. And again, I'll share some of the pictures and stuff like that of the place and all that once we get going, and it should be a lot of fun for us. So stay tuned. The adventures of Tom's Simple Life continue. I just wanted to mention this area right here that I'm weed eating now. I am going to cover that with wood chips, with the cedar. I've got a bunch of cedar limbs out there, and I'm going to cover all that right up to the porch steps there. And then later, if they want to add some shrubs or whatever, that'll be fine. But it's just a lot of weeds and junk in there. And I think at one time they had shrubs, but I'm gonna cover it with wood chips, and then, you know, try to control the weeds, and then you know, like I said, if they want to put shrubs and stuff later, that's fine. But I think that'll look good right in there. It'll be good ground cover. I also took a page out of Lush Cut Lawns, Jason and Sean down in Australia. They both wear these leg gaiters, protective stuff on their shins. You know, I mean, I just don't like wearing pants when it's warm, you know, long pants. Even though these cover your legs, you still got some shorts on to get some air up there. So I took a page out of their book and found some of these things and ordered them. And my wife got tired of looking at my shins and knees, you know, scraped up and banged up, and looked like somebody shot me with a shotgun some days, all the little red marks on them. So they work great. I put them on, do my weed eating and all that, and take them off and wash them, and they work great. So thank you, Sean and Jason. Good guys down there in Australia if you don't watch them. Sean's with Blade Mate Lawn Care, and Jason with Lush Cut Lawns. Two of the nice guys in this that do this stuff. I wanted to mention this little pot right here, and it's kind of a little wagon with you know, ornamental metal things around it, and you know, decorative rocks and all that. When I was first clearing, I was throwing a lot of sticks on there to get them out of the way of the lawnmower and stuff, but now I'm going to clean that off. Stephanie told me her sister came up to visit and helped them out inside, and she said they really loved that thing. So I mean, it doesn't look like much right now, but it belonged to their mom, and they liked the fact that I left it there and tried to clean up around it. So that's the backstory with that thing. It's nothing fancy, but it was theirs, and their mom loved it, so it means something to them. That pampas grass you can see is starting to sprout up there, so I'm gonna have to deal with that pretty soon too. I guess I got a lot of little things to do here. It's gonna keep me busy. No problem. You know, it's 1 or 2 days a week. Gives me something to do, and like I said, I've got my own yard to do, and I take care of a yard for a retired Army veteran who can't do his yard. I take care of his, and my neighbor, he's gotten to where he can't do his anymore, so I'm gonna take care of his for him. So you know, I got things to do myself away from here, nothing major, but you know, 1 or 2 days a week over here is good, and I'm sure we'll spend some time down on the river this summer and fall. You know, do a little fishing or cooking out and stuff like that. Yeah, one of my good friends from back home, he said his saying is, life is good when you make it good. So hey, at 70 years old, we're going to try to enjoy every minute of it, because you don't know when it'll be over. So we enjoy it. That's what we're going to continue to do. Oh, I wanted to mention too that we picked up this little John boat. Like I said, it was a used boat. I saw it on Facebook Marketplace. And we were talking to the gentleman that sold it, that was selling it, and got talking, and I said, you know, you don't sound like you're from the South. And we were north of Goldsboro here, where I live, in a little one-horse town. And he said, no, I was born and raised up in Massachusetts. And we said, oh, really, where? And he said, North Attleboro, which is where Jocelyn and I were raised. I was born there. Jocelyn was born up in Maine, but she went to Massachusetts when she was 5. So it's a small world. We met this guy, and he was, he was a kid in the same hometown as us. He left there in 1980 as a youngster. We left there in 1976. So, we didn't know each other, but small world. But anyway, just wanted to say good to be back, folks. Love you, YouTube family. You guys are great. Keep the comments and questions coming, and I'll do my best to answer them and respond to all of them as much as I possibly can. And thank you for your support. And we will see you on the next video. I'm going to let this thing roll out, and have a great evening. Thanks, folks.